Welcome back to The Big Question. One of our guests is Inspector General of Police David Kimaiyo. After the police banning with immediate effect all political rallies and demonstrations in the country, you're telling us intelligence reports that you've gathered say there could be problem of people planning to cause chaos in these rallies. Are these specific rallies, and which people would you say are planning to interfere with the rallies?
Well, thank you, Hussein, for giving me this opportunity to make a clarity or clarification on the statement that we have issued this afternoon. First and foremost, we must get to understand where we are coming from. Number one is that we have not indefinitely banned any political rallies or any rally, for that matter. I want to make it very clear that our securities assessment that we have done so far, and including the circumstances that were surrounding a number of insecurity incidences that we have experienced in the country, gives us an indication that as we work towards the preparation of this week's Madaraka Day celebration, we require a number of personnel to provide security in general, and a number of our officers are also involved in quite a number of other activities.
Right.
And therefore, any kind of a coordinated and informed public rally, we should be able to provide the security as required of us.
Right.
And therefore, as of now, we may not be able to coordinate the more National Day celebration and also the other public rallies that are there.
So is it that you are not able to provide security for this rally, or is it that you know that there's going to be a problem in this rally or rallies? Well,
the entire security assessment that we have come up with is that if we continue having rallies during the course of the week, and especially towards the weekend, then definitely, and especially within the proximity where we are going to hold the National Celebration Day, then definitely there will be some kind of a confusion, and we may not adequately provide the requisite security that is required as per the requirement of each and every party that may want to hold a public rally.
Okay, by saying near, I believe you're talking about Nyayo Stadium for Madaraka Day.
Well, it is all over, including Mombasa. It's not only Nyayo Stadium alone.
So you're talking about, when you say proximity, you're talking about the whole country?
Exactly. This is what we are saying. If we have a function nearer to where we are holding public celebration for the Madaraka Day, that is an area where we are focusing, that the security will be confined in most of those areas that we are celebrating our national days.
Okay. I want to go back to the statement issued today by the police, and it's signed by you, issued by the spokesman. It says, in this regard, therefore, we have to prioritize the interests and security of all Kenyans by calling off all political meetings and processions in the country to prevent and preempt any incidents which may be taken advantage of by criminals or proponents of terror. Again, my question is, are you preempting something? Are you preventing something, as you're saying? Or are you saying you don't want this to be held at the same time Madaraka Day is being held?
Well, thank you very much. You know, when we talk of security intelligence report and the assessment of security, that is more of detail. I've just mentioned that on that, and we'll leave it at that line. And right now, when we are talking about organized public rallies, and more specifically, where a number of political parties or individual rallies that they are planning for, they are saying some of them is to counter another rally, another one to counter. So we may not be able to coordinate some of this and countering and so forth. And we are saying we have not banned all public rallies all over the country, but specifically on areas where we are going to all our public celebration.
Although that wasn't clarified.
And that is the clarity that I want.
You want to make.
Number two, I also want to clarify that it's not a blanket ban of that matter, for this matter.
Okay.
Any other coordinated public meetings. And in this particular case, we are not talking about political rallies, because really, what is the political rally for?
Okay.
So it is any kind of a gathering that is going to assemble for a certain purpose. And therefore, if it is within the proximity where we are going to celebrate our celebration, then those stands to be banned. But definitely, if there will be any other venue that somebody will offer and inform us, then we shall allow.
Okay. All these rallies, are you talking, by the way, about a specific rally or any rally as from today?
Yes, until we finish our celebration.
Any rally as from today?
Yes.
So according to your intelligence assessments, and of course from the onset I should have said this, we are respectful and we respect what the security authorities may be knowing that we don't know, but it's just questions stemming up from what people are asking, and of course all these parties. You're saying security, the assessment you've got from intelligence, are you talking about assessment as from today? Because rallies were being held as late as yesterday. On Saturday there was a rally, yesterday there was a rally, so why now?
That's why we are saying, according to the information that we have as far as security assessment is concerned, is that we may have some issues here and there, which the details I may not be able to give you now. And for the time being, we are saying all public rallies nearer. Remember that we are doing celebration even up to now.
Right.
There are practices, there are parade yesterday. We were at Nyaya Stadium doing the parade, and it continues. So when you look at the assessment that has been done, not only by the National Security Intelligence, but again, even by the security intelligence within the counties, they have given those indications that as of now, we need to focus on the national celebration.
So my question, Bonaiji, with all due respect, is it as of now? Because you're also talking about yesterday, saying yesterday was also celebrating Madaraka Day. We are continuing celebrations. Yeah. But yesterday there was a rally.
Where was it?
It was held in Lolongo.
No, we were not informed of any rally. That's why I'm saying any rally that we have been informed, we are providing security, we shall do that. But you cannot do also a rally without informing.
Have you been informed of any rallies, pending rallies? Let's forget about as from now.
We have been yesterday, I received a letter from court, and today there was another also information from the Jubilee that they are going to have a rally. And today we were to meet with the leaders of the court to organize and see how we are going to provide the security for the rallies that they have been planning, which is okay. And we are yet to meet. We have to meet this evening, but tomorrow morning we are going to meet to see how we are going to plan and support them in whatever the rally will be held. But specifically not nearer to any other function, whether in Mombasa, in Eldoret, Nakuru, or other places within the country. So that is as far as our security assessment is concerned.
So they can be held, but not very close.
Definitely. We are not preventing anybody not to hold the rallies so long as it does not conflict with the celebrations of Sunday.
So you're saying you're not banning then all political meetings and processions, are you? Well, you're saying it depends again with the proximity.
Exactly, and that is even what my statement says very clearly here, that where we have security assessment situation, and it gives us indication that there may be some of those things we have mentioned in my statement, it's very clear that we cannot, and we shall agree with the organizers. If there is any group of people who want to plan for a meeting, they will agree with us, either my officers within the county, either they come to my office national level, or the deputies, and then we plan and provide the necessary security required. So for us, it is provision of security for all people. In the country.
One of the reasons you're saying is that you will not be able to give adequate security to all.
No, for the areas where we are focusing now for this celebration.
Yes.
Well, we are covering everywhere, but we may not have security specifically for a certain rally.
Why?
Definitely, we are already concentrating on the national days, and we are providing security to other Kenyans elsewhere within the country, but not to focus on any particular political group.
Kindly excuse my ignorance, and again, with all due respect, you're the Inspector General of Police. I wouldn't know anything about security, but the people who are holding these rallies are also Kenyan. The people who will attend these rallies are also Kenyan. You're talking about not providing security for them just because of Madaraka Day, with all due respect to that.
Well,
this will be held.
You are getting me wrong.
It will be held on, from what I'm getting, it will be held on the 1st of June. So how is it that you cannot provide security on this rally? Because that is what you're supposed to do.
Security arrangement does not start on the day of the celebration.
Yes.
Security provision arrangement starts from last week as we were planning, and the concentration is on the last week of the eve of this particular day. So therefore, if you are planning for a public rally tomorrow, we are already distracting our smooth process of planning for this, for the celebration. And therefore, if you are planning in a place where we are not holding any public celebration, for example, if you have a meeting right now somewhere in Ngong, and it is not near the proximity here, we shall have the Ngong police to provide security there around that particular point. I'm just giving an example. If you're having another rally somewhere in around Tika, but part of Tika where celebration is not taking place, then we shall be able to provide the security there. But what we are focusing on is a county like Mombasa, for example, And you know of late, we have been having some security challenges in some of those areas. We don't want anybody else to take advantage of the same venue where we shall have maybe a thinner number of officers to provide security.
Right.
But for this matter, if after the 1st of June, then those who will be applying and notifying the police, remember we have the Public Order Act, we have our Constitution,
and the Constitution,
the Constitution in terms of freedom of assembly.
And that is where I was coming, because some already say,
respected and observed that very clearly.
Some already saying you're disregarding the law when you're doing this. Quoting Article 37 of the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, which says every person has the right peaceably and unarmed to assemble, to demonstrate, to picket, and to present petitions to public authorities.
We, as National Police Service, especially the Inspector General, I respect that particular law. And again, when we keep a caution, for example, now, if you read Section 5 of the Public Order Act, especially subsection 8, where it talks about any police officer of the rank of inspector and above, and you can see now I'm above the rank of inspector, as Inspector General, and you'll be able to see that where there is already an imminent danger or there is an imminent threat, then definitely we should not allow that kind of a procession or a rally. Equally, we have the limitation in the Constitution. Article 24 gives us also clear limitation.
How would you respond to this? Because politicians are looking at this coming at this time, countries charged politically. They are saying you don't really have the best interests of them at heart, and it's blanket because, of course, you have your right. These are security issues. You don't have to say everything, but they're saying it's blanket because you're not giving a real reason. And that is why you're saying you're talking about preventing and preempting, yet now you're saying you don't want it to be done in areas close to where celebrations are going to be held.
Okay, let me ask you also the same question.
Please do.
If we allow these kind of functions or a celebration or whatever, the political rallies, and given that we have information in advance, and something happens, who will be blamed?
The police.
And that will be the Inspector General. The park stops at my door, and then I need to caution. And we agree with members of public.
So my question,
I don't have any specific person in my heart to say, I like this one, I do not like this. All our people are the same. And I have the duty and responsibility as Inspector General to be able to protect all Kenyans. At the same time also, be able to caution and be able to advise all our Kenyans. And in this particular case, if we are talking about Jubilee or a court, they are free to come and see me even tomorrow. And we organize in the manner that they want their rally to be conducted in a very peaceful manner, wherever they will be able to suggest, and we agree harmoniously well.
Already some are arguing, Bwana IG, by you saying security around the areas where you'll be having the celebrations, if people hold rallies that you'll not be able to give them adequate security. Some are saying...
Not within the proximity.
Not within the proximity, that's what I'm saying. Some are saying that already shows some kind of failure, because you're supposed to give security.
There's nothing like failure, Hussein, in this particular situation. We are telling you, you should not do ABCD. And if you want to do it forcibly, and on Monday, number of people are dead, or a number of people are injured, who is going to defend? I'm putting this in advance. And remember, there is already a statement issued by certain political parties that we are going to counter another rally and another rally. Now, we will accept, as far as the security of the country is concerned, have a responsibility to do that.
Wonderful. Two more questions for you. One, coming from what you just told me before we went to the break, and this is why I'm saying people are reading politics into this, but of course, with all due respect to what you're saying, as having gotten intelligence reports on this, you said, why should people hold rallies now? This is not the time for elections. Is that part of your mandate? Should you decide when they hold rallies?
Well, definitely we have our law, we have our constitution, and members of public who may apply or who may notify the police that they want to have a certain function. Then we need to look at what is this function for.
So it can be held
if it is a political rally, for example, that you have mentioned, and I said earlier on that we have just come from a campaign period. That was last year when we had election during the month of March. Now, what is this other political rallies is meant for? So we have to look at it very, very clearly. Is it meant to confuse Kenyans? Is it meant for for filing for votes, for what preparation, or which period?
Right.
Are we looking for
So
this kind of
they have the
campaign?
right.
But they have the right to do all that they want to do. But again, they have to be within the limitation of the law.
So it's not as what you said earlier.
Yeah.
Okay. We've had some of the people speak here. Duale, the majority leader, Honorable Wetangula, minority leader in the Senate, saying they are going to go on with the rallies.
Well, I want to say this, that Honorable Wetangula personally has called me that he wants to have a meeting today with me. And because of some other exigencies of responsibilities that I had, we were not able to meet. And we have agreed that we meet tomorrow morning with this team of leaders so that we can strategize how best we can be able to handle the situation. Any other person who may want to come also to see the IG, they're welcome. And we can organize and agree on the manner that these particular functions or meetings are going to be conducted. But evidently we do not want the situation where we are confusing the public. The public must be cautious enough that this is the time to carry out our development. But remember, before I wind up, I just want to say to Kenyans that this is actually the right time for us to continue and progress in our development. The campaign period, the politics are over. So what we need to do now is to progress. Number two, we have issues of security.
Okay, I'll have to interject there again.
Yes, thank you very much.
You're saying this is the time for development. You are right, but again, are you saying this is not the time to do politics? They are within their right.
I want to appreciate the Kenyans the way we conducted our election last year, and they appreciated. This is the same statement I'm saying, and I repeated last year, that after the general election or after casting your vote, you are supposed to go and wait for the results in your house. And that was it. And they have they obey that and they observe. But as of now, what are we politicking for? If we are not trying to cause some kind of anxiety or members of public to be put in a situation where there is confusion.
With all due respect, what that sounds like is that you can determine, or you're trying to determine when people should politic.
And you're saying... Mine is to advise. I can advise as the Inspector General as well as the person seeing that if you do this, there may be some insecurity challenges.
So in other words, you're saying people should not do any politicking unless we are very close to the election?
Politics. But again, they have to conduct us so that we advise them accordingly. That this is not the right time, or this is the right time, or you may conduct and we shall provide security for you.
All right. Inspector General of Police David Kimaiyo, thank you so much for making time for the big question. Let me just look at the two feedback responses from you, or for you rather, on 2242. We thank God for a wise man like Kimaiyo. Why does anyone want to disrupt the little peace we have with rebellious attitude? That is Maggie from Nairobi. A big yes to the Inspector General. Rallies and demos for what at this time? Kenyans need peace of mind to carry on with daily work and not political nuisance. And then somebody here says, so will he also ban the Madaraka Day celebration on Sunday because it will have a lot of people? But of course, no. We've talked about that. IG, thank you so much, Bwana Kimaiyo, for making time for the big question. We're taking a short break, rather. We also have Nairobi Senator Mike Sonko on the big question tonight. Stay tuned.